Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. A bit delayed on this video, but we are here regardless. Let's talk Friday Night SmackDown, and boy, do I got a lot to talk about. Now, the first thing, the main thing, the thing that should always be the main thing, the undisputed WWE title picture. I mean, my God, they are putting their eggs in the basket with this one. So, out comes Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, to come cut a promo. This would be handy because Drew just beat Sami Zayn at Royal Rumble. He helped eliminate Cody Rhodes, and he's still got a bit of beef there from Cody, and still a bit of beef from Jacob Fatu. The winner of the Rumble didn't pick him for Mania, so where are we going with Drew? This would be helpful to know. Out comes Drew. What happens? He's interrupted. He's beat up. He's battered by Cody Rhodes, who starts grabbing. Cody Rhodes then decides he wants to cut a promo on the mic. And yes, in certain aspects, WWE has lacked in certain storytelling, certain bad booking, but by no stretch has WWE been bad at all in the last 3-4 years, regardless of what people say. However, there has been certain areas that have lacked. And since Roman Reigns came back, won that Rumble, and cut that ungodly promo on CM Punk, things have felt a bit fresher. Cody Rhodes looked at this and decided, yeah, I'm going to do the same. And the ironic thing about this is Cody Rhodes has always had this ability. He did it just before War Games and got us actually really hyped for War Games. And it's just like, if it's there the whole time, why are we ever in this place where we're just like, nothing's really happening, nothing makes a whole lot of sense. This promo was fantastic from Cody Rhodes. Was fantastic. He went in on everyone and everything. He went in on Drew McIntyre. He went in on Jacob Fatu, I think, anyway. And then he talked about Roman Reigns and CM Punk and slapping their meats on the table. And it's a good job he wasn't there because they don't call him Raheem for nothing. He referenced the memes, man. Cody Rhodes, flowers. Flowers. Now, we know he didn't win the Rumble, and he's not getting his rematch. You know, he has to earn it. His only other option is the Elimination Chamber. So Nicholls said, look, you're in a qualifying match next week. I'll see you next week. Get the hell out of my build. Later on the night, Drew McIntyre tries to come out again. This time, Jacob Fatu attacks him. Obviously, we know their beef never got finished. Jacob helped Drew win the title. Drew's scared of him, so when he eliminated Cody Rhodes, he said, my problem isn't with you. But we all know it is. And Jacob Fatu, I don't think really cut much of a promo. He just beat the shit out of him. So there's the Drew and Fatu, there's the Drew and Cody, there's the Cody and Fatu, there's a triple threat potential there. However, we continue because throughout the night, Drew McIntyre has run-ins with everyone backstage, including Truth and Damian Priest, right? Like, obviously Truth is comedic and whatnot, but Damian Priest really had a look in the eyes. He says, look, Drew, you have got a lot going on, and we've done this dance many times. We don't need this problem right now. Even Sami Zayn, who didn't mutter a word because he is so deflated and defeated after not winning that WWE Championship at the Royal Rumble. And then eventually by the end of the night, Drew McIntyre got to come out and cut his promo. And as it ended and he was walking out came Trick Williams. Trick Williams entered himself into the fray, doing his normal stuff, talking that shit like he did to Sami and Ray Phoenix in the back, who he's had problems with since he got here. Yeah, I mean, there's so many eggs in the basket for Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. And I wouldn't be surprised if at Mania we're looking at a fatal four-way between like Drew, Sami, Cody, Jacob. And then I'm thinking, oh, but maybe we might throw Randy in there to spice up the thing between him and Cody. Or to spark the history between Randy and Drew. Maybe we'll throw Trick Williams in there because they're trying to propel him to the top. And he's getting involved with Randy, with Sami, with Drew. And then it hit me like a Mack truck. SmackDown has had 2 Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, one for the men's, one for the women's. Raw didn't have any. And then they've announced next week's qualifying matches for SmackDown. They have not announced any other Raw ones. Is it possible? Is it possible? Because Randy Orton just beat Solo Sikoa and Aleister Black, right option, to enter that chamber, right? And it felt like a prime Randy Orton, the way he beat the fuck out of them too. Like, he was on point. He was on his mark, on point. Like, He just did not slip up. That was great performance from Randy Orton. And they've announced next week's match to be Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn. I mean, that is impeccable, but unbelievable at the same time. I mean, how do you pick a winner? Is it a potential that some shenanigans can happen next week? And is it possible that at the Elimination Chamber, instead of getting a qualifying match for WrestleMania, because there's so many people chasing that WWE title, chasing Drew McIntyre, why don't we have Drew McIntyre defending his WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber? Let me tell you why. I've got 3 names for you. Cody Rhodes wants that title and wants Drew. Jacob Fatu wants Drew. Sami Zayn wants that title. Randy Orton's already earned his way into the chamber. He just fits in with all of them, fits in the story perfectly. He doesn't even need a reason. And then Trick Williams, potentially. A star-building morning for Trick Williams. Is it just me that can see some shenanigans happening next week and all 3 of them getting added to that chamber, and then Trick Williams being the final person? And then whoever walks out of the chamber with the WWE title will be defending the Mania. Maybe this is their way of having Drew lose that championship. I don't want to see Drew lose it, but for the benefit of WrestleMania, it's a potential. But that's just my thoughts personally, but I'd love it. I'm excited. And I think it's about time we'll have the world title defending the chamber, you know? Like, and it's not like they've not done it for years. I do appreciate the if you win the chamber, you get a title opportunity at Mania, just like the Rumble. The Rumble should always be the main event, although they don't always treat it like that. Rumbles, you know, the men's and the women's, one should be night 1 main event, one should be night 2 main event. And if you're thinking, well, sometimes the matches aren't good enough, then you should book it better, yeah? And the chambers should just be the other world title opportunity at Mania, anywhere on the card. But every now and then, I don't mind defending the world title in chamber, because it really feels like a good match to defend the world title in chamber. Think of all the times world titles, bar like the most recent one, 2022. Think of all the times world titles have been defended in the chamber. They're all memorable. They are memorable. And it's a good way of getting a new champion. Like, it often at times feels unpredictable. So I would love that to happen. But at the same time, Elimination Chamber is in Chicago, and if you look at the design of it, between each of the pods, they've got a star for CM Punk. Obviously, Chicago, hometown of CM Punk. It's literally branded CM Punk show. We know he's going to be on it. Now, yes, he could very well defend against Finn Balor, right? But we know Finn Balor's not going to take that title. But here's a thought. Why doesn't CM Punk defend it in the chamber? That was my thought originally, because it was in Chicago and I had the design, and then Finn could be in it, and probably Braun, but I'm hearing he's injured now. But LA Knight, Bronson Reed, you know, we're going to have Punk defend it in the chamber. But now that he's got Roman Reigns on his plate, and we'll see all the potential for Drew McIntyre, I'm starting to think it makes more sense to have Drew McIntyre on there. So yeah, that's got me pretty hyped, and I'm pretty excited about it, so let's fucking do it. As for the WWE women's title division, Liv Morgan has still yet to make her official decision. She said she was coming over to SmackDown to make a decision. Here she came with Raquel Rodriguez. And before she even talked titles, her and Raquel were about to beef. Out comes Jade Cargill, stares in the face of Liv Morgan. And to be honest, when it comes to Liv and Stephanie, and it comes to Liv versus Jade, I think neither makes more sense. Genuinely, they both make just as much sense as each other. Liv's never had a one-on-one match with Stephanie and never had a one-on-one match with Jade, from my memory anyway. Especially for a world title. Neither of them stylistically suit her more. You know, it's very 50-50. And I mean, the only things that would sway me would be, I'd rather see Liv win the WWE title instead of the world title. She's already won that world title. But at the same time, I'd rather see other people face Jade, so Liv should face Stephanie. But then you've got the added Raquel Rodriguez in there, and it's like, is Raquel going to win the world title and take it to Mania against Liv? Well, I don't think, you know, Raquel should win a world title, take it to Mania, drop it to Liv, because then that's just screwing Raquel Rodriguez. Not to mention, Liv's already been women's world champion. You know, maybe Raquel could get put over all along, so it depends where they go with the story. And maybe if Raquel enters the chamber and wins, Raquel versus Jade, Liv versus Stephanie, I'm here up for that. So the dynamic is interesting, but I do kind of think they're probably going to go with that triple threat match, Stephanie, Raquel, Liv, which I don't mind and I don't hate. I'm just curious how they're going to execute it. And I really just hope they don't copy what they did last year and have Raquel win the world title shockingly before Mania. Because that's not the first time they've done that. You know, they did it with WrestleMania 35 when Charlotte Flair magically won the SmackDown Women's Championship weeks before a triple threat match with Becky and Ronda, you know. So, yeah. But then out came Jordan Grace, the woman who's currently feuding with Jade Cargill, who they need to just hurry up and have that match. And then Nicholls decided to make the genius of idea of making Jade and Jordan, enemies, team up against Liv and Raquel, who are a team but aren't getting along. And Jordan and Jade actually got the win. And then this then confirmed that Jordan would get Jade next week for the WWE Women's title. And I'm kind of bummed out about that because it's a women's world title. Put it on Chamber. Just put it at the Elimination Chamber. Like, what are we doing? Seriously. Like, Raquel had Stephanie defending her world title on Raw. Why is now Jade's defending her title on SmackDown? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, if you ask me though, like, I definitely think Raquel should be in that match with Liv. And Raquel should be the winner. But that's just me. And speaking of that women's world title division, we had our first women's qualifying match. Chelsea Green, Tiffany Stratton, Lash Legend. You can pretty much imagine who won that one. And to be honest, saying that these days, it's not that obvious. Chelsea Green is over as fuck. She's just not considered like a dominant player. Just people love her. Lash Legend, they're clearly trying to build up. She's in a faction with Nia Jax. Not a faction, a tag team. And she got the most eliminations in the Women's Royal Rumble. However, she's in a tag team, so that's probably why they're not going down that route. And obviously, Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany Stratton got the win, of course. She's the first woman in there. I can't remember if they announced the match for next week. I'm pretty sure they might have. But I can't remember now, so it is what it is. Tiffany's the first one in there. Would I see Tiffany win the Chamber? Potentially. But at the same time, no, because we don't need to see Tiffany Jade again. Stephanie we've seen, but also where's the hype for that? So, don't think she's a potential winner. And with Randy Orton, is he a potential winner? Maybe. If it's to go to Mania to challenge for that WWE title, potentially. Just saying. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky defended the women's tag team titles against Julia and Kiana James successfully. Had a backstage running with Lash and Nia. I think that's going to happen sometime soon, and about time. I think if anyone's going to take those titles off of Rhea and Io, I mean, obviously the Bella Twins, but also Lash and Nia make a good argument. Something tells me we're going to get a big tag team match at Mania. With all the building they've been doing for the women's tag team division, probably going to have Rio in there, we're going to have Lash and Nia, we're probably going to have the Bella Twins, probably going to have Bayley and Lyra. And I can see probably the Bella Twins walking away with it, which is sad, but it is what it is. As for tag team championships, well, the actual tag team champions, MFT, which I'm kind of confused because Solo and Tama won them, but then Solo and Tama give them to Tala. But then when Tama Tonga had a match, Tonga Loa and JC Mateo came out wearing them. So are they all just tag team champions? It kind of just pisses me off a bit. But yeah, Tama Tonga came out to have that match with Shinsuke Nakamura. They had a good, brutal match, and obviously Tama Tonga gets the win. About time they had that match. I think Tama Tonga's warming up to something big. Maybe at Mania, but I don't know yet. But I think they should have executed it earlier on in the feud because Carmelo Hayes is quite busy. Obviously, Carmelo has the thing going with Ilya and with The Miz. The Miz is not done with Carmelo Hayes. He's always jealous of Carmelo and thinks Carmelo should be grateful of The Miz. And obviously, Carmelo's like, no, go screw yourself. At the same time, Carmelo promised Ilya a title match. Ilya wasn't bothered because he was chasing after the WWE title. When that didn't work for him, he's like, okay, I'll take my rematch. Miz screwed him. Now Ilya's mad at The Miz, but also mad that he didn't get his WWE title. So Ilya is kind of chasing that WWE title now. Not WWE title, United States title. So we've kind of got this three-way dynamic. And after, well, Carmelo beat Ilya because of The Miz, Ilya got back on The Miz and beat The Miz. The Miz decided it was his turn to challenge Carmelo Hayes tonight, but not for the United States title. And I don't know why. I think it's because they're setting up something later on. But Carmelo Hayes got the win over The Miz. And I think at Chamber, or probably just on a random episode of SmackDown, we're going to get a triple threat match between Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, and The Miz for the United States title. I could see a world where they might put it on The Miz, but I think they should keep it on Carmelo Hayes. Purely for the WrestleMania potential of Trick versus Carmelo Hayes. Which is where I'm just like, you know, if you're talking Chamber, around Chamber time, that triple threat match, and then you're talking around Mania, Trick Williams, I don't know where they're going to fit Tama Tonga, Carmelo Hayes. Maybe they think Trick Williams is too big for the United States title, and maybe they are going to run Tama Tonga, Carmelo Hayes at Mania, and in that case, I don't mind. But back to the MFTs. Apart from that, the MFTs weren't seen the rest of the night, and Uncle Howdy did cut a promo package talking about how fear is not when you're separated, but when you are alone. And the MFTs weren't spotted anywhere around Solo Sikoa, and he was paranoid, even for his match. He took his lantern out there, and there was the little Wyatt signals. Because of Solo, well, winning that 4-on-4, stealing the lantern, winning the tag team titles, really trying to dig it to the Wyatt 6, and then insulting Bray Wyatt, they're really playing with them now. And it's interesting. And I like to see how they're going to keep this story interesting, because they might even carry this on all the way through to Mania, which is insane. It is insane to think about that, but it is what it is. Well, Women's United States Champion was in a tag team match. I'm trying to think what other matches there was. There was other matches. My mind has gone blank. There was no Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. I think I may potentially have covered everything. No, I haven't. Kit Wilson came out, got his own entrance, came out, cut a promo, very awkward promo, doing his gimmick. And then he called everyone in the Rumble toxic and challenged anyone from that Rumble to come out and get him. But who came out? None other than Obafemi. As we know, he's not signed. He beat up War Raiders on Monday Night Raw. The match actually started, the bell actually rung, and he destroyed Kit Wilson, who then got made fun of backstage by Matt Cardona. Obviously, you know, they've got that thing going on. Matt Cardona, who was stood with Wild Apollo Crews, who was not showed his face in probably about 2 years. Everyone thought, like, shouldn't you be released or something? But, like, I seen something on his Instagram that he was doing, like, some college, university degree thing. So he's obviously been granted time off. But he's back. But in a random backstage segment, something tells me we might get Kit Wilson, Apollo Crews next week. And Kit Wilson's probably going to win. And that's going to really hurt my heart, because I was a really big Apollo Crews fan. And then he won the United States title. And I'm like, I can't believe they're pushing you like this. And then I stopped watching WWE for a while because it was awful. And I was going through adolescence. And I tuned back in. And then he had this awful African gimmick. But he had the Intercontinental title. So I was happy for him. So I don't know. But yeah, Obafemi. Still don't know which brand he's going to. At this point, I don't mind, because originally I was saying SmackDown. SmackDown could use all the talent, but now I'm looking at how many talent they actually have. I'm like, maybe Monday Night Raw. Maybe you might be better fit on Monday Night Raw, but I genuinely don't care. I just like SmackDown better. And I feel like week after week, SmackDown is better than Monday Night Raw every week. It's just, it is what it is. I'd say it's because of the better talent, but I just, like, if the Raw talent was on SmackDown, I'd probably like that roster more as well. It's just SmackDown. It just feels less commercial and more fun, but exciting at the same time. And I love it. But that's my thoughts on SmackDown. Let me know if I forgot anything. I probably did. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.